big man.
Whatever your favorite costume was, had to be a big one.
Yeah, it had to be. Can't get a lot of small costumes too big for it.
What was your favorite?
My favorite costume, it was probably it was small. I wanted to be Spider-Man because Spider-Man's my favorite.
JJ.
2 for 2 on Spider-Man so far.
Spider-Man, he's my favorure hero. So I had to.
Same here. He's pretty dope.
Did you see the new one? Spider-Verse?
Oh yeah. I'm about all that, like the new video game.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got the game.
Yeah. I just beat it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Favorite candy?
Candy? Smarties.
You probably just became my wife's favorite player. She's Spider-Man and Smarties. All over that. She had me looking for Smarties 2 weeks ago. I couldn't find them.
Just straight.
Looked at like 5 places, couldn't find them.
But JJ, we were just talking about Marion and said he never heard him say anything. Have you ever heard him say anything?
Mine?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like he talks to me once a time.
Oh, okay.
So why do you think he didn't talk to JJ but talks to you? Because you blocked him?
It's like, I guess you just gotta catch him at the right moment, like whenever he's talking or saying something.
But you kind of affect his life a little bit more than JJ does.
Oh yeah. So like when I need to talk to him about a certain player, just saying what's up, like hey bro, you good? Like, he'll answer.
Staying on that, as an offensive lineman, you don't see a whole lot about what's going on, but you sense, I imagine at times, when the running back goes by you and you open up enough of a hole for him to get by. How is it different sensing him getting by you this year as opposed to before?
Before, there were certain times where, it was all about, our running back's vision and just about, the O-line, making sure to get movement off the ball. But I feel like this year we're doing a great job of, moving guys off the ball. Our running backs have great vision. And I feel like we're all starting to get into that flow of, coming together and, working as a group, as a team to, have a great offense that we want to have.
And you get the sense that he's getting through those, he's seeing the holes and he's getting through them a lot quicker now.
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, he was good before, but now, he's capitalizing on it and he's doing a great job out there. All of our running backs that get him out.
Well, talking to Mac and Chip yesterday, they both said it might have been your best game at Georgia Tech the other night. What did you like personally about how you played, and what have you battled this year?
Personally, I like the way we all, the O-line all played as a unit. I like the way we came together and we're, the first play on the field, we came out there and we wanted to hit them in the mouth and make sure, that it wasn't going to be like the way it was last year. And, the end result wasn't how we wanted it, but we feel like, in terms of offensively, we went out there and, tried to hit them in the mouth and make a statement early on. And I would say for me personally, just going through each day, one day at a time, and just getting better as much as I can. No matter what the adversity is. That's what Coach talks about all the time. Is just moving through adversity. And I feel like that's something I had to do to get to the playing that I got to last night. I want to capitalize on that more and more each time.
What was the adversity?
I guess the adversity was just going from right guard to left tackle and just. Trying to get a feel for that I'm comfortable there, and then once I got a hold of that, guard kind of came easy to me because left guard kind of came easy to me because being on the left side, they kind of all flow into the same kind of the same thing when you're at left tackle to left guard. So.
I wanted to go back to Omarion for a second. You obviously talked about some of the improvements that he made. Right now, he's leading the league in rushing yards, and Adam said he's 4th nationally. But what were your expectations for him kind of coming into the year? I know he had some big games early on last year, but kind of going into this year, what were some of the things you expected from him?
We all expected Omarion to do great things. Seeing him from last year, we knew he was going to be a great player, and he did show up when he needed to. And then this year, he's improved so much, and in terms of having that vision and also just knocking people over. And it really comes no surprise either because in practice, we're grinding every day and seeing him at practice, he keeps his head down and focuses on what he needs to do. You could see that this year that he was going to come out with a vengeance, in terms of playing at running back. So I feel like he's done a lot of great things this year and he's going to continue to do that as we go along.
William, last year we saw one loss become 2 and it kind of snowballed from there. Does anything feel different about this time around to kind of prevent that from happening again?
In the locker room, no one's keeping their head down. No one's feeling sorry for themselves. We know that we have a goal. And we know that we still have everything that we want to do in front of us. And we just know that if we let up now, that it's going to turn up to be the same year that we had last year. And like no one in the locker room or coaching staff wants that at all to happen. So like now, like we're coach talking about biting down, all coming together and just working towards a common goal that we can still obtain, because that's still in our grasp.
Which loss was more challenging to get over, the Virginia one or the other night? Or were they the same?
I would say both. Both were definitely challenging games to get over. Virginia, it didn't end the way we wanted to, especially on my part with like letting up a sack in the last part. But we worked past it, and we all still banded together and came out of Georgia Tech and fought our butts off. Still on offense. Defense struggled a little, but they still went out there and like did what they needed to do. So, but I feel like we're not gonna let those two losses like get in our heads, because we know that we all know that our common goal and that we're gonna get together, go out there and just finish how we need to finish this year.
How much of a role does Drake have in helping you guys with protections?
He has a huge role, when it comes to like, he's back there and he sees a call. It's really Corey and Drake, talking to each other, making sure that we know which call that we want whenever we see a certain front or not. So it's definitely a lot of communication going on between our center and our quarterback.
You all have had, a few different starting lineups throughout the year on that line so far this year. How much does that impact you as a individual on that line? Like, is there a distinct, as an offensive lineman, is there a distinct chemistry you need to have with the rest of the unit? Like, how much of an impact does that kind of have?
I feel like in terms of the O-line room, we all band together, and we're all brothers here in and here out, and we know exactly what all of our assignments are, and we put all of our trust in one another. So whenever the lineup switches up or whoever's in, we automatically know our assignments, and we know that we can trust the person next to us because they've been working their butt off all week. So in terms of O-line chemistry individually, I feel like whatever position coach puts us out, he's gotten us ready to be able to play that position to the best of our ability.
Well, we heard from Mac coming out of the Minnesota game and the Pitt game that that the coaches wanted more out of the run game, and just wondering if he was telling us we need more out of the run game, and you guys have responded with some really nice rushing games since then. Was Coach Clem was that a challenge he issued to you guys? I don't know if that's too strong a word. Was he barking at you guys about that? We got to get this thing back going like it was for the App State game, or how did that go?
I mean, Coach is always harping on us running the ball. He's been saying that since spring. It's not the way we wanted to that Minnesota game and a few other games before. But as the season comes along and as we get better and as we trust each other more, I feel like that's what's kind of helped us be more efficient in running the ball, and also just of course the coaching, but he's always harped on us running the ball and being aggressive downhill. So I feel like we were all starting to get that more often, more better.
Did the Omarion run through the 333-pound guy the other night? Was that the best one you've seen from him, or what Omarion run recently has got you really hyped? Was that the one?
That definitely was the one that got me hyped for sure. But Omarion's always had great runs, and he's a great dude. Does what he needs to do. Doesn't get into any trouble. He comes out and does what he needs to do, and we appreciate that from him all the time.
In general, how much are you able to see of Omarion runs that he breaks into the second level? Because you're probably still blocking a guy. Are you able to see how the play develops in front of you?
After you kind of hear the whistle and you kind of look over and you see where he's at with the ball. You see him 30 yards downfield. For me, it's something that I expect him to do because he's such a great player. I see him do it in practice too. So whenever I see him doing things like that, it doesn't surprise me. I know that we're on a roll now.
Well, you guys came up last year with so many one-score games. It's everything was down to the wire, and a lot of times you guys came out on the right end of those. Drake, some heroics from Drake and other guys. It seems like the last couple games, in the fourth quarter, you haven't been able to come up with some of those drives. I mean, what do you think has been the issues there for you guys? When it's in crunch time where you haven't been able to get to the end zone, and is that something you're trying to address?
No, absolutely. You know, it's something that, you know, we talked about today too in the meeting. It's always just about attention to details. And like, you know, in the fourth quarter, you know, we harp on the fourth quarter and like, you know, that we can't lose in the fourth quarter, and we haven't, you know, it hasn't like gone the way that we wanted to, but you know, every day and every practice, you know, we're making sure to throw up that fourth quarter whenever it's like nearing the end of practice, so that we can always be reminded that you know, the fourth quarter, that's where we excel at and that's where we need to finish. So, and it hasn't been like what we wanted it to, but still, like we still harp on that every day and just keep on going, keep fighting, and you know, eventually it'll break out for us.
All right. Thanks, Will.
Good stuff, Will.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man.